I have a I have a I have a chart that I've been going off of that I drew out, or a bar pattern that I found that kind of match what's going on. And I'm kind of looking for it to do two things at that 50. You know, if it breaks above, great. But I'm not in a hurry to get back to that 50 really fast, because if we go up there and we don't have the volume to tear through it, we're just gonna pretty much hit that shoulder and get rejected again, and that's not gonna feel good for a lot of the holder, or a lot of people that's
Unless
invested.
you're an NFT.
I
think
couldn't
they're
agree
they're
with
the
you
one thing
more.
that is
This
still
is more,
really going right now.
and I guess it's like a finicky time to look for long-term investing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're an NFT, I think they're the one thing that is still really going right now.
Well, I guess they could probably be boosted by the kickback in Ethereum price, because the gas fees would go down, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing scary about the NFT, to me, in my opinion, is you know, if everybody, you know, there's not, if you look at the total market cap for NFTs, and then you look at how many different projects there isn't enough liquidity for everything that's supposed to be holding the value that they say is holding. The only reason it's holding value because, you know, people are holding onto these digital assets or these digital properties. But I was telling Scott, the reason why I wanted to have the topic that we had today, as I was thinking, I was like, guys, what do you think about, you know, blue chip NFT projects like a Bored Ape Shop Club, or, you know, Macy, or any of those? What if these people came out and with a token, especially in the times that we're in right now, where we don't know where Bitcoin is going to go? And anybody who tells you that they do it are absolutely insane. Like, we don't know where it's going short term, and short term being, you know, within a year for me. I think that if these large blue chip NFT projects did come out with some type of token, I think that they would jump immediately in the top 50 or the top 100 market total market cap. And that's what I wanted to kind of discuss today, and see if you guys had any opinion on it.
You know, that is an interesting theory. The one thing that I would say, if I were bored out, you know, the Bored Apes, I would probably not be that. I wouldn't be researching that, because their build out really lends itself to the art collector as opposed to the coin trader, and that's really where they're picking up. I feel like a lot of their value is being that NFT specific, and you know, doing type of launches, which, if you own maybe multiple Bored Apes, you could mate them and do babies like they're talking about doing. I feel like is the next evolution for those. But I feel like, as opposed to tokenizing that, I feel like adding tokenized components to it, I feel like that would be their main bread and butter moving forward at this point. You know, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of look at it. The reason why I call it, like, the token wouldn't be their center focus, right? Let's say that you have all these NFT marketplaces, there's digital marketplaces, and regular people want to come into these marketplaces, and these people want to just come in and view what's going on, but they don't have access because they don't currently own one of the NFTs. But let's say that if these projects did have a token that people could pay as an admission to come in, I think that, you know, I think they're going to use it for something like that, almost like a something to kind of just either pay for fees that could, you know, it could mitigate fees going forward, or gas fees down the road, or it could be just used to add a little bit more liquidity. But I read an article yesterday that it just made me think about it. And it was just like, you know, what's next for Bored Apes? You know, because they've done it. They partnered with some of the major brands. They sold out. You know, they raised the floor. So what would be next going forward to sustain that longevity for them?
I think they start getting into physical assets, merchandise, T-shirts minted on the blockchain for specific apes. That would keep the exclusivity of the group, like they're trying to do, to make it like a premium group. So I don't think a token would be wise, because it takes that exclusivity away.
I like that point.
I would agree with that 100%. It kind of keeps, because their base is really art collection, right? but I do see them as there is one thing in their whole product line that is amiss, and that's the fact that the people that are buying their products are having to. I mean, it's on the they're going into the hole on their initial purchase based on the high Ethereum gas fees, so they're missing out on all of that profiting. And yeah, I think if Bored Apes were to launch their own platform and use some type of a native currency just for the purchasing of their NFTs, maybe that would resonate well. But that seems almost more like something that they should achieve through a partnership as opposed to developing it themselves.
That might be a way to go, is partner with a certain kind of cryptocurrency to allow like staking or something like that with the apes. Like, I think there is a way that they could stake them. Like Crow Skulls is about to do that soon. They're going to be staking. You got to have a team of 4 or something like that. And then I don't know the aspect of their staking or what you earn, but I think it's a brilliant idea when it comes to NFTs to be able to stake them.
Because they can already reflect. There's already projects that are underway and doing that, where let's say it kind of like the stuffy bunnies. They if you buy into their NFT, if you hold their NFT, then you earn flavors and X Mooney. So there's already that utility aspect that's coming to fruition by these partnerships, but there hasn't been something that is. It would take. I think it's going to take a big Bored Ape type of one of these blue chip NFT projects partnering with, for example, maybe an XUSD, to where their transaction fees are so low. Partnering with them to achieve the low gas fees, that's going to actually provide the competition necessary to OpenSea, because really these blue chips are kind of what's holding it up, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, these are really good points, and that's why I kind of wanted to have that topic today, because I was just thinking about it. Like where would these massive NFT projects go next? But yeah, that partnership idea definitely sounds spot on. If they did develop some kind of partnership with tokens, and I do see that they are starting to allow staking. There's going to be a lot of interesting things that you can do with NFTs this year. I know that. I don't know if you guys remember, it was 2 weeks ago we were talking about gambling, and we started talking about some of my gambling experiences. But the reason why that topic came up is because it was this project that came out, and it was called Delta Flips, and they're basically going to make it so that you can take your NFT to their casino, and you could gamble your NFT. So they basically have some kind of marketplace set up that gives you the 30-day value of your NFT, and it kind of averages out, minus gas fees or whatever. And you go into this casino and you could play blackjack, you could roll roulette, and you could essentially flip your NFT against somebody else's that you guys can both go into the casino and bet on the game. So it's going to be some very interesting things, and I didn't know how that project would go at the time that we were talking about it. I think it released at $250,000 market cap. When we brought it up here 2 weeks ago, it was $1 million market cap, and then I just checked before we got on today, and it's a $7 million market cap. So this might be a serious project. I don't know much about it. It's definitely not financial advice, but I'm just using that as an example, just to kind of show like what NFTs are the capabilities NFTs will offer going into 2022.
I feel like there's already been something. I want to say it was something with like a Doge and maybe it was like a Bulldog poker room or something like that, where they released an NFT, and the NFT gave you access to their casino.
That was the Junkyard Dogs, I think it was.
They were on a few times. What's that?
JYD.
Yeah, I think it's the Junkyard Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that was. I don't know how that project's doing, but I thought that was a very very good idea for to introduce utility into the market, because I always saw NFTs as almost going to be starting off as a membership type of card type of thing, where you can earn rewards or all these different things. And I still think that these artists and everything, maybe behind the scenes, and once they establish their brand and build up their brand strength, are going to want to be starting to talk to these developers, these big projects about getting their coin or their NFTs, as building it into part of these big coins ecosystem in some way or form.
And it goes to show. I mean, what do you guys think? So for me, another thing that I'm looking at this year is smart wallets, because some wallet is going to have to eventually integrate all these different NFTs. It's not going to be. I think probably not this year, but probably a couple years from now, nobody's going to want to hold their NFT maybe on a marketplace. They're going to want to have it in a wallet, and then also maybe I don't know how you would actually spin your NFT without cashing it out, right? Like, is there something set up already for that? Some kind of like, I guess like credit system for it.
I don't know, man. That might be something for Funny Bandit. He might have some insight on that. He has a project.
Yeah, I know that. I seen Mastercard, did a partnership with Coinbase, so people could purchase, NFTs with credit cards. Here's my thing though. I don't know if anybody else has this problem. I'm in the States, but like when I go to use like Simplex or Pay, like I can't even use, like, my debit card won't work, but like my credit card goes right through. And I'm like, why would my actual form of money not go through, but my form of credit does?
I think this is part of the banking system, and how I got around that is, if you set up Apple Pay you can use through that, and your credit card is tied to Apple Pay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I do use Apple Pay for SafePal stuff, but I know I think I was trying on, like, it was either KuCoin or it was something I tried to purchase the other day, but like my card would not go through, and I was like about to lose my shit. And then I use my credit card and it goes right through, and I'm like, bro, my credit limit's not even like, like what it on that card is not what it should be, right? But it went right through like that. But here I am with my account, and it's not going through, and I know the money's there, and it's just like, what the world, like. But yeah, I think Mastercard and Visa probably got some kind of form of partnership that's outside of the traditional finance or the banking system, and I guess the banking system does have some kind of limitation on where you can purchase or what you can purchase with your card.
Yeah,
which is weird because it's your money.
Yeah, it is. It's like there's a quicker way to transact, but I think with the debit cards, especially, like for Bank of America, my Bank of America won't go through if I try to go through MoonPay. But if I go, but I connect my when I connect my bank card to Apple Pay, then that goes through. I think it's more of the your ability to get scammed by connecting to these third party, Simplex and MoonPay, that they're cracking down on, because you can't recover your funds from a debit card, but you can recover your funds from a credit card pretty easy.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Because when you use your debit card, it's an instant transaction, and when it's a credit, it's two people validating from each side that funds are there, and it still has to be a product, almost like it's a smart contract in place.
Right.
No, that makes sense. Man, I want to find this article where I was reading this yesterday. I hate when I like read something or I'm reading something and I don't save it. But it was just a really interesting topic, and I wanted to kind of go back and look at it today and read through the comments just to kind of see what they were talking about. But yeah, I had jumped into a room yesterday, and it was a Coinbase room, and I kind of got in there a little bit late, and they were basically talking about some of the blue chip projects in the future possibility of them tokenizing or doing something with tokens for the people who didn't get in early. I mean, and it's funny though, because if you think about it, I personally go through like a lot of smaller market cap projects and larger market cap projects, and it's so funny that some people feel like, well, it's not fair for the price to already be at X amount, right? And I wanted it for cheaper, right? And I think that's anybody because it's the timestamp that you're buying. But let's say something like, we talked about this last time, like where, like for me, like I wouldn't be able to purchase Bitcoin because I don't want to trade amongst the people who trade Bitcoin. But then some of the smaller market caps, I'm okay with. But here I am in this situation where it's like, I've seen the Bored Ape Shop Club come out. I watched them go from 0.7 to 1.1 on the floor to where they are now, and it's like, what is the recipe to find that next NFT project that's going to be, the next Bored Apes per se?
I think it would start with looking at the community that they have around them and the hype that they have about the project. Maybe you can look at it in terms of their membership in their Discord prior to launch, because really what it comes down to is these NFT projects have to have enough of a community that's interested in buying their product ahead of launch to get to sell out the collection and have people raising the floor, because doesn't it really kind of need to sell out in order for people to start reselling and buying and raising the price?
That was my next question. Does the collection move up with or without it selling out, especially like rare pieces? I was always curious about that.
I'm curious about that too.
Hey, Bunny, do you have an answer for that one?
Sorry, I was working. What's the question?
What? You back to work, man? I can tell your COVID results came back negative. Good God Almighty! No, so I was asking. So with NFT collections and things like that, let's say that I was to have a super rare NFT. Does that floor price raise up by itself, for it being its own NFT, or does the whole collection have to sell out for the floor to actually raise?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's the value of what the community sees it. And I use the word community loosely because it's thrown around so much here on Twitter. But I also think there's just like two different styles of projects right now from my point of view, from the artist, right? Like you have the collections that are more about the art. They're more they're more art savvy and they don't really care so much as like the floor price. And then you have the projects that are all about utility and getting the project sold out in 25 minutes, and they're all concerned with the floor price, and they have a million people trying to get it. But like when you get that high, do you keep going up, or is it a slow fall? What would you rather have if you're running a project? Would you rather have a build up and establish yourself, or would you rather have a huge run up? I granted, some of these projects that sell out might have awesome projects, and they might stay on top, they might go on top, but like when you guys were talking about the Bored Apes earlier, I was listening, like nobody's ever going to compare with the Bored Apes. They did what they did, they got in at that time. I wouldn't call that luck, but I would say that probably 90% of the projects right now, it's a good percentage of them could be luck.
So you're saying that Bored Apes would be that's the standard for NFTs, kind of like that's the highest standard, like not luck involved, but they definitely, I've seen some of the partnerships, and I know that when they did the Bay C in NYC and they were selling merchandise, man, they had a line that was like all the way down the street. So they definitely did something right in their recipe.
I would consider them, they're going to be like the legacy brand. Like they're not, I don't think they're ever going to go anywhere in this space. Like I don't think they're ever going to like fall from grace or anything like that. Like they're going to have their spot at the top. Nobody's ever going to fuck with them. But nobody can ever, like, you can't really compete with them. Like nobody's ever going to be on the same, like you're going to have a few other ones that were up there, like the crypto punks and things like that were there at the start of this. But like Like these new projects that are up and coming, you know, how many projects are derivatives of these that you see that are just, you know, from an artist point of view, is that original?
Yeah. So what would be the next step? What could Bored Apes do next? You think they could actually come out with another collection and then sell out?
They're already in the metaverse too as well. They're in.
I think they'll enter the metaverse. If I'm being honest here,
anything they do is going to be golden at this point. Like anything they touch is going to have the Midas touch.
They're already in the metaverse too as well. They're in Sandbox, so I know that for a fact.
Right, I think they might expand on that ideology and maybe release a Bored Apes game in the metaverse, or maybe, you know, clothing like we were talking about for your avatars and things like that. I think that'll be probably their next big push.
Oh yeah, because that would essentially raise the floor. If you were to own one of those pieces and somebody put it on a shirt and somebody purchased it, you would actually get rewards from that or royalties off of that. So yeah, that's a good way to keep it going. You know,
don't they have, like, I heard they have an app coming out on the App Store next month, and like supposedly like everybody who has a Bored Ape gets like a 3D version of it to use, or will be getting a 3D version of it that's like a 3D file that they can use in the metaverse to as their person.
Wow, man, that they taking it to the next. I didn't even know about that. That's super new. That's super new to me.
I mean, you got to have a ton of money to do something like that, though. To do like 30,000 different apes in 3D models. I mean, that's the amount of. Think about the amount of time that would take to produce all those. Like even if you're just producing the traits and you find a way to create them randomly, like that's still a ton of work.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm trying to understand the worth of the Bored Apes, right? Like I've been going back and forth. Like I said, I definitely had a chance to get them really early and just kind of like sideline my decision on it. But now I'm starting to go back and look, and I'm like, bro, these prices are so crazy. Now I'm like, well, what is the benefit for somebody who's purchasing? Let's say if somebody's spending, you know, $350,000 on a Bored Ape. What is their benefit now? Like, can that floor price really go up higher than that? And now that's why I was asking those questions. Like, what would be next for those ones that's already raised so high on floor price?
When I first started the Bunny Bandits project, like I wanted to understand this. So how I got into this was like my kids, my 9 and 11-year-old kids were sitting there with me at the computer. And we're looking at Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, and this was a few months ago when they were like the floor was 40,000. And I was like, holy shit, people are paying what, you know, somebody's like an average American salary would be for one of these fucking things. And Mike Diesel, one of the guys on my team, he was telling me like probably around like May, June last year, because he was in Twitter, and I was like, no, I'm not on Twitter, fuck Twitter. And he was like, I've seen these apes and like all these people talking about AMC and stuff, and like I was reading about like how these guys came up. I thought they had been in the space for years doing this. And like, no, they had started in April, and their floor price was like $300. And I was reading about it. I thought, like, did these guys just blow up with success? And like, it sounded like, you know, they didn't get it like that second. It sounded like it took them a minute. They had they had a strong team, it seems like, and they made it happen.
Do you know one thing I seen them do brilliantly was TikTok. I was on it during the launch. I seen them actually do a TikTok with this guy that's like kind of like I don't know, he's like a safari guy where he runs around with like cheetahs and different things like that, and like monkeys and all that stuff. So when Bored Apes came out, he made one of his monkeys sit with him, and they were showing off a Bored Ape or whatever. Just brilliant advertising. They're great at advertising.
Well, and now they're such a household name. They don't really, the advertising budget can probably go down just due to the amount of hype they have around all their launches to begin with. Another good a thing that I'm looking for in 2022 with the NFT space is, you know, an artist pairing with a project where the collection is actually crowdfunding some type of an investment, like crowdfunding. Everybody who buys one of these NFTs has a certain percentage stake in, let's say, somebody develops an apartment complex, and all of these people actually who bought this collection of NFT are going to earn some benefit from the investment. And
I already heard somebody talking about that like a couple of days ago. There was, I think he's like a 19-year-old kid, and he talked about how his family got him started into real estate really early because his parents were realtors, and he was talking about doing that same thing with like timeshares.
Oh, when I hear timeshare, I go running. No, no, but absolutely, like an Airbnb. But yeah, there's, I mean, that type that type of thing, I think, is one of the ways that you can actually utilize, because the art is great, and right now I think building brands for these artists is really important for them, because then once the utilities come up behind them, like let's say uh, I don't know, Lennar Homes, wants to suddenly utilize these NFTs in a way to drum up business. I don't know, just as an example, um, uh, NFT artist with an established collection, they'd rather just sponsor that collection and give that to the people that want to invest in this venture. Is I think we're gonna see more of that, more of the projects reaching out to these NFT art develop artists, and buying into their community for their project.
Maybe it's a little bit off the topic of what you just said, but like for example, think about it this way: like if you're a famous artist, and like if you're like Banksy or Shepard Fairey, and you put out an NFT, people are going to buy that for the art, and no matter what it is, like people are just going to buy it instantaneously. They're going to buy it just because of art. You don't have to have any utility behind it. But like a lot of these projects, my personal view on it is, they might not have any real value or artistic value, so they have to, they just put out a 10K project, and they're like, well, our art isn't, it might be pixel art or something like that. So what do they got to do to sell that? They have to find some way to utilitize it to get people involved. So like, and then there's the ones that are in the middle of that, where like you might not be a famous artist, but like, if you want, maybe for example, like with my stuff, where it's like I kind of want to be in the middle of that.
Right, and exactly. And I think what people are going to come to find is that these collections that offer utility as part of them, if they don't have a community behind them to begin with, or a brand established, I think that they're going to run into problems. And I think the community and the brand is probably the most important thing for NFT artists at this point, and building that.
One thing I was going to mention, since you brought up like Banksy and like Obey, like coming from the graffiti culture here on the West Coast, I can tell you for sure that that is basically like, in terms of cultural icons, like those are some of the biggest players in the graffiti game around. So, when you're talking about Obey the Giant and, Risk and some of these other guys like Saber from LA, who painted the entire LA canal. When you look at them and talk about, sales and being able to sell their art, even some of these major guys in the graffiti world are struggling to, get their NFTs out there, like you guys are saying, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, like some of these guys are struggling. And I think it's interesting because they have a pretty big following in the communities that they represent, but I don't think that translates well over into the digital world, going from, dingy graffiti artist, breaking the law, to someone trying to push art. I think it plays against some of the branding or some of the ideologies that they've instilled in their communities and followers that they have currently.
100%, yeah. But like, even if you're like not specifically graffiti though, but like some of these like more famous people that are just the artist, you kind of have like these like subsets in the culture here where you got, you know, some are games, some are all about the art, you know, some are PFPs, some people are selling them not as PFPs, some people are doing like fine art, photography. So you like there's so many different genres now that we have coming into this.
Right. All right. Here's another question I would have: is do you think the Bored Ape Yacht Club would be as big as it is if it didn't cater to that social media PFP type of look, where people can show it and broadcast it, and it's almost like a status symbol in the in social media?
Well, my question to that would be, if they didn't hire Madonna's PR person, would they be where they're at?
You're correct, buddy. Their marketing was top notch.
I mean, for them to have that person there who got in touch with Rolling Stone and pulled some major strings in the industry, like would they just be? I mean, would they be as successful as they are right now?
You're correct, buddy. Their marketing was top notch, you guys. That is how they blew up. If you do not have marketing, you are not doing it properly. Like, there has to be somebody in marketing that you can get connected to help push your project, because without the proper team, you're not going to be able to accomplish what you're looking for, I don't think. It's the same thing in crypto projects too, exact same thing. And I mean, you can get shilling groups if you want, but that's not going to do you good. You actually need like proper marketing.
I mean, I think it's part right place, right time, like the right look for what people wanted, but also that marketing team that piece of that PR that they had was like, that was the killed the game right there.
Well, and everybody can pay for articles to be put in different places, right? Like, you just got to find the way in.
I think that Bored Apes just kind of, you know, with the marketing that they took, the marketing approach they took, they just went after high profile people. And then the fact that high profile people decided to see the value in their project. And then, you know, everybody started making their profile picture. I think it all coincided together, where it was like, hey, the market.
Here's a question for you. Do you think they paid those high profile people to potentially have their Bored Apes?
Of course. If they didn't, they probably gave them a Bored Ape for free. I mean, it's just
exactly.
Like you got to think it's free marketing, right? So why wouldn't they?
Well, and now since then, you got every project that comes out is trying to emulate that same experience, and everybody's just like flooding. Like, if anybody even has a blue check, it's like, oh, send them stuff for free, and it's like these influencers are kind of just even expecting it at this point. Like, they don't even feel like they need to pay for these things because they should get them for free, and like that. I think that has actually like changed the market of it, because they, you know, they feel a sense of entitlement.
I think it's silly.
Oh, you have the same thing from shillers, right? Like, you have this entitlement on Twitter, for instance, or YouTube, that they need to get paid an exorbitant amount of money to advertise for a project, which I think is silly until they prove their worth. Sorry, buddy.
But I guess I don't see that projects really. I don't know. Maybe I'm off base here, but I feel like without a showcase to kind of show the world that you have this, I don't think that the price has a chance of running up that. Like the Bored Apes and everything, everybody has that as their, you know, all of the NFTs that, you know, you see is kind of designed towards this PFP, so you can kind of show off what you have, type of, you know, if everybody had a Bored Apes and nobody got to see it, or I just feel like that is a big contributor. So if you had an NFT artist that even the best, you know, photographer in the world, if that didn't translate into a PFP, I think they're going to have a difficult time in this space. Perhaps. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, like the thing I noticed too is like these Bitcoin conferences are perfect places to like advertise your projects. Like you have some of the richest people coming into one space that are there to throw around their money, kind of, you know what I mean, or see or make people know that they are doing it. So, I mean, if you had main advertisements at like Bitcoin conferences or something like that, I think you'd be able to push your product a little bit better too.
Do you think that Twitter releasing the Twitter Spaces early last year had a big part to play in that too? Where like before there wasn't as much something like this, where like when we're sitting here talking to each other, we're looking at each other's PFPs, and like maybe before when Instagram was more relevant and Twitter didn't have these spaces, it like I think maybe that played a huge part in their success as well.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. I would say the same. Twitter Spaces definitely changed the way I look at crypto altogether. Like, I know that it definitely played some part with the NFTs and Bored Apes.
Yeah, it made the world a lot smaller having these Twitter Spaces.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Clubhouse now too? Has it kind of died down versus Twitter Spaces?
Who?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought too. They're convinced that they're big though, but in Asia, I think they're bigger versus Twitter Spaces.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to look at it. You can't have Twitter in all the countries, right? So that definitely serves a purpose in other countries. But I think here in the States, especially, since Twitter Spaces did come out, I think the Clubhouse is still popular for certain topics and certain businesses or certain projects that use it. But yeah, I think for crypto in general, I just think Twitter Spaces just kind of came in and was just like, look, you guys are already here wanting to shield. You always you want to jump in from different spaces, but you still want to be on social media at the same time, and it gave us all of that in one. So yeah, I think for crypto, it definitely just it took it to the next level.
Do you know one thing that bugs me, I guess, about a lot of these new NFT projects, I guess, is they don't have a clear roadmap. I don't believe in the other thing. Like, I mean, some of them do, but then some of them are the total opposite, where they're just taking what the next project is doing or saying that they're going to do, and then they promise the world, even though they can't deliver because they haven't sold one NFT, and they ruin it for other people. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like Bunny was saying, some of this is luck, right? So you get some of these projects who come out and do certain things, maybe not because they're artists, maybe because they say, hey, look, I know how to do this, and let's see if it goes well. And then it goes well, and then they're sitting up there full of broken promises because they weren't even planning on it doing well, and then it did well. So, and it's almost just like let's say like a crypto project gets like we say it all the time, if a crypto project gets too much marketing attention before they're ready, that project usually ends up, down bad because they got a lot more attention than they were ready for, and they didn't have anything to match that hype that they created. So they didn't have anything to lean back on.
Yeah. Bunny, how's your project doing right now?
It's going well, slow and steady, man. We've got some sales, trucking along, just staying out here, staying relevant, growing the community, and I'm actually have like 200 more to upload. So just been putting them on OpenSea and hoping that it continues to grow on track like it has been.
How have they been selling so far? Like, how many have you sold?
I think we've sold like a total of 4 from season 1, and then we've had some sales from the samples. So it's not we didn't sell out in a day kind of thing, or get even close to selling out. But I mean, it's still it's enough to not write it off as like, hey, we failed or anything like that. Like people are interested in it.
Yeah,
and I think it'll take time.
It's going to take time to build your brand, but I'm seeing more and more and more bunnies, so that's a good thing.
I mean, we gave 250 of them out as the free airdrop, and then we have 1,000 left to sell. So, some of the people that got them for the airdrop have been selling them. I know Alan sniped one this morning that somebody paper handed. So, yeah, I mean, it's there's times where I'm like, I could easily get caught up in like looking at other projects and be like, oh, they sold out, I didn't sell out, or like me and my team didn't sell ours out, but like every project has its time, and we're doing something disruptive and different that maybe not everybody else is doing. So it might take a little bit of time for that to catch on.
I love seeing mine on your thing. I love seeing it.
I still haven't changed it yet. And
don't. It's all good, man.
One of these days,
when I get to see if there's offers on it, I might even have offers for all I know.
One of these days, when I get some free time, I'm going to draw a custom one for myself. So I'm not using yours anymore.
Well, I like that you're using it because in the end, like, it just adds value to it, right? So keep doing what you're doing.
Yours is going to be sick when you take the time to do a custom. All right, so I have another good question for you guys. This is going to be not NFT related. This is going to be blockchain related. All right. Do you guys think we will live in a multi-chain world, or will it be one chain to rule them all?
Multi-chain.
Multi-chain world. Multi-chain.
And so are we going to be thinking about like the blockchains kind of being like states, and it won't be any like I guess, or let's say with the blockchains, I guess the way I'm asking is like, would the blockchains be considered cities, and then one controlling them all would be like a state that controls the city? Or do you think that the blockchains themselves would be like their own state where they won't have any? Well, states do have government party, which is everybody, but the federal government. But what I'm saying is, do you think that in this multi-chain world, will there be one blockchain that is responsible for kind of having a certain standard for all the multi-chains to live up to?
No, I don't. And I think I say that just because I think in order for blockchain technologies and all of the innovation that comes with it to be effective, it needs to have these availabilities to tie together, and it also needs to be separated. Just because if you have to go through one all these access points that are all on one blockchain, that it becomes a vulnerability. So I think multiple is definitely the way that the blockchain thrives, once mass adoption.
I think that too, Hammy. I think that if we put all this on one chain, that takes the decentralization away from it. I think the higher you build up that block, I think that's why they're trying to switch the nodes to keep the block sizes small, to keep it more decentralized. I agree with you 100%. I do think that it will be a multi-chain world. I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't put it past the government to kind of come out with something, or some kind of chain comes out that is just like revolutionary and can handle a lot more of the usability than other chains. That's my only thing. But yeah, I definitely think that there'll be a lot of multi-chains as well.
Well, and what it might be is the government creating a wallet system or something.
That's where I'm going next.
That would be available. That would be the way that you would control it from a governmental type of way. But if you want, I think that there will always be ways around going through those. It's more of the more convenient something is, the more you're giving up in form of personal protection or property or your intellectual, your privacy. So there's going to be these convenient ways of accessing all of this information.
Smart
now, the more complex the alternatives will, afford you more privacy and ability to do other things. It's like jailbreaking in a Fire Stick type deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
we should throw up our, oh, sorry, Vivan. We should throw up our video up top and see what people think of that, like what their thoughts are. I'd love to hear people's ideas.
Oh that was our Tron video. But yeah, man, that's what I was kind of going with, Hammy. I kind of started I'm trying to think of new ways, right? I got a kind of a team I'm putting together, and I'm kind of trying to think of new ways to present, what a blockchain is and what makes blockchains different, right? And my analogy that I came up with lately was like, Ethereum is like, to me, is like New York City, and yes, like if you live in New York City, you're there, you're paying to play, right? Like that you're gonna live in a skyrise, it's gonna cost money, and that if you just want to go down the street to make a transaction, it'll be expensive because A, you're gonna have to fight traffic, B, you're gonna have to take a cab, and C, it's just gonna be expensive because it's New York. So I just kind of started trying to think about different blockchains and what city they would kind of represent. Like a AVAX would kind of probably be like a San Francisco to me. And just so on and so forth. But yeah, like this is just kind of a question I was raising. Like, do you guys ever think that it will be one blockchain that comes out, or one centralized blockchain that handles centralized side of crypto or digital assets versus the decentralized side?
Well, think about it in terms of what connects the cities, which would be the highways,
Yep.
which is the
bridges.
The bridges. But there's more than one way to go. You can take the turnpike, which you have to pay extra, but it's more convenient, or you could go on the interstate.
Yeah, that's like your interoperable network. So you can do that with like Polkadot or Cosmos and things like that. But yeah, man, I don't know. And to me, I felt like like when people compare, like, let's say a Solana or Ethereum, right? Like I look at Ethereum as being its own major player, right? And I kind of look at Solana not really trying to be an Ethereum. I look at Solana being a rebuilt Ethereum. Like they just kind of want to build their own buildings again and build their own city out and build, all of their infrastructure, and then try to, take on some of those transactions that happen on Ethereum.
I think and I hope that there will be like easier ways to like interchange between these different blockchains, because like even for me, I'm not as tech savvy with all this stuff as you guys are with all the currencies and the coins and tokens and stuff. But like, for example, like I tried to support this one dude's project that has I've been talking to since I've been on Twitter, and like his project used Matic. So I was like, what's the easiest way to do this to get Matic into my wallet, because I only have wrapped Ethereum. And somebody told me like, well, go on crypto.com and send Matic to your MetaMask wallet. And I did that, and then it sent the Matic to the ERC20 chain. So now I'm like, it was like a whole process to get it from the ERC20 chain to the Polygon. And it's like I feel like there needs to be like some easier ways to get all this to where it's like more simplified. And I think it'll come too, because it's like the normal people, like maybe like myself, who don't understand this as well, like try explaining that to somebody, like how to get Polygon to your wallet and get it on the right network. Like I still don't even know how to do it, kind of.
No, that's true. I think smart.
I had to ask Vibin how to get my Bunny Bandit.
Yeah, he did. And I think that's where the smart wallets are going to come into play. I think that's why you see a Robinhood taking this long amount of time to come out with a wallet. Coinbase is coming out with a wallet. I think they're going to make it easier to be on chain, off chain, cross chain, interoperable. And the reason, and another thing, I'm like you. I'm like, what's going to be that blockchain that makes it easier to cross over, right? And essentially it won't be one, because we almost got to think about it like you might be safe inside of your home, and if you have a home in two states while you feel safe inside of your home, where are you going to feel the most threat, right? Is when you're traveling between the two. And that's the same way it works on these tokens. Like while the tokens at home on this respective blockchain is safe, right? But as soon as it hits one of these bridges or hits one of these layer twos, the crossover is where the vulnerabilities come into play, because you have to give up some form of your security because it's not on chain anymore. But yeah, I'm looking for some bridge, some layer one, or some chain to take on this security. But I don't know which one it's going to be yet, and it's something that I'm definitely it's something that I've been searching for like super hard. I see Matic's got a lot of partnerships in place, but at the end of the day, the vulnerabilities still happen off chain. As soon as these things hit these bridges, as soon as these things hit these highways, it's like the hackers are there like, yep, I seen you when you left your house.
We need a Steve Jobs for this, like somebody with a Steve Jobs mentality to come in and have a different way of seeing things that's going to change the game, kind of thing, to make it the ease of use so that the mainstream can understand it. I think
it has to happen with wallet functionality.
Yeah, smart wallet, man.
Smart wallet. I think smart wallets are going to be a big thing. If not 2022, I think 2023. If SafePal doesn't just run away with it.
Yeah, man. SafePal is the one who's making me think about half the things that I think about because of I don't know how many people use SafePal and how long you use SafePal, but where SafePal started at and where they are now, it's like night and day. Like, just from the front end swap to having all the D apps to having, everything that you want to do, and you could put your NFTs on there. It's the only one I know you could really front swap BNB for Ethereum right there on front swap for 3%. Like, and it's not even hard. You don't have to be a genius to do it. It makes it super easy for us to change from BNB to Matic to Ethereum to whatever. It's like only thing you got to do is type them in. They don't even have to be the same chain. So these smart wallets are going to be the recipe that makes it easier. I'm trying to think of another one, Hammy, that I ran across that's not SafePal. It's a wallet that I just ran across recently, or I read an article about, and I did not know that they had some of these same capabilities. I'm gonna try to think of it.
Yeah, but essentially, SafePal is a Binance exchange too. You can load up you can connect your wallet to Binance and literally kind of trade in and out of coins like it's Binance exchange with relatively small fees. So, like, even if you had $11 in your wallet in Ethereum that you didn't know what to do with, you can load that wallet into the Binance app through SafePal and trade just like you're on an exchange. So, SafePal has a lot of the functionality baked into it right now. It's just kind of providing the format to get it to tie into a D app that allows you to do the NFT marketplace a little bit easier and more streamlined. But with Binance NFT, I can't see it being too far out.
Binance is definitely taking some legendary steps. I don't know how far Binance will go in 2022, but this new burning mechanism that they have right now is like the real time burn. It's been pretty impressive. I can't remember the exact numbers on it, but they burnt like something like $17 million US since they've implemented that upgrade. You think?
Sorry.
No, I was going to ask Hammy. Do you think that something like a Binance will continue to push forward to kind of try to compete with the likes of an Ethereum, or do you think some of the smaller caps like a AVAX or Terra could come in and swoop right past the Binance just because of the growth? How much? I don't want to say how much more room they have to grow, but just because of the lower market cap.
I think that Binance is an affordable option right now for a lot of people. And I think it would be silly to think that they're not going to have a legitimate NFT contender, like NFT marketplace contender, to rival OpenSea within the year of 2022. They have the Binance NFT marketplace right now, but if they integrate that into SafePal wallet and allow a low fee mechanism to pick up these NFTs just by connecting their wallet to their NFT through the SafePal app, I think that's going to provide some serious competition to Ethereum, and hopefully that will in turn make Ethereum react and hopefully provide mechanisms that will reduce the gas fees.
I think that too, Hammy. I just don't. To me, when I talk about the cities, I think Ethereum's cool with being New York City, right? And they're cool. Like the people who use Ethereum that really use it, you know, some of these big whales, they don't care about these fees. Like we bitch about them because we're retail, right? But some of these venture capitalists and the people that's moving around big, they're not really thinking about these fees because of how much they're making. I think they may. I think it'll be interesting if Binance does, you know, start really getting into the NFT and having a marketplace that can challenge the likes of an OpenSea. It will make it very, very, very interesting. I think, you know, Solana may grow a little bit more in that process too, if they do that.
Well, if you think about New York City and what makes it thrive and what makes it what it is, it's the volume of people it has within a small area or a small range. You know, it's the population density of New York is what makes New York what it is. Now, you toss a virus into New York, it makes people spread out. So there's not to say that you could look at Binance NFT as a virus that could affect the ecosystem, that could force them into the suburbs type of deal, is what I'm kind of saying.
I see what you're saying. I like that.
I've heard a lot of people recently, not like specifically artists, like trashing OpenSea, and I don't know if it's an unpopular view on it, but like, so for example, in my graphic design world that's separate from Bunny Bandits, like I do quite a bit of freelancing on the side, and I use a website called Upwork, and I've used it for years, and I've tons and tons of people that I've networked with on there and made a decent amount of money every year doing it. And like a lot of people trash them too, and they say, oh well, Upwork charges you, you know, a fee of, you know, 20% when you first connect with a client until you get to like a certain amount. But then my argument is like, okay, first of all, if I wasn't using this platform, I wouldn't even make any money because I wouldn't be connected to these people in the first place. So like, in a way, yeah, I'm not saying like go ahead and rate me on the fees, but like, but at the same time, like without these options, you know, like I wouldn't have these connections. I wouldn't be networking with people all around the world and doing this stuff. I wouldn't have these opportunities. Like to do that by hand would be so hard. You know, you would have to go and email massive amounts of people or reach out, and like I wouldn't even know where to start with this. So like for the people that are trashing the platforms like OpenSea, like yeah, it might not be the best. You know, as far as it's always shut down, it might charge you more fees or whatever, but like at the same time, like would you have these opportunities? Like would we be able to be here having these talks about these NFTs if it wasn't for them doing what they're doing, you know?
I think OpenSea they've been getting a lot of they've been catching a lot of slack late. Well, no slack. They haven't been getting any slack lately. Just people's really been on their line. I think people are just looking for another alternative, just not because they're unhappy with OpenSea, just as another place to try to make money off of. And you know, with Looks, we've seen Looks come out, and you know they've had a impressive run in their launch. But I think we'll see a lot more marketplaces really come out in this year.
Did you guys see that Banksy is coming out with his own NFT? So they're gonna particleize his one picture, "Love Is in the Air," into 10,000 little pieces or whatever, and then they're gonna give ownership to the 10,000 people or something like that.
That's funny because they were talking about doing that at the last Bitcoin, or no, it wasn't Bitcoin conference. It was the crypto conference in Miami. There were a lot of collectors talking about doing that and coming out with NFT collections that were just like almost like a jigsaw puzzle where you just own one portion of it, and eventually it puts together one painting.
Well,
but doesn't that require every single little piece of jigsaw of the puzzle to actually resemble some type of art?
Yeah, because you only own like a pixel or a few pixels of the actual picture itself.
So basically, you own cells under a microscope.
They're
Right.
kind of thinking of it as like, I think Constitution DAO is part of this. I'm not 100%, but we'd have to look into it a little bit deeper. But I think they're looking to it as the public owning a piece of Banksy's art, right? Like looking at the bigger picture behind it or whatever.
do they get to decide if the art piece ever sells or not?
I think there'd be a vote behind it, right?
Right. That's interesting. I think that you're going to see the people like Banksy. Like if I knew an artist that was incredible right now and had like an art following behind him, I mean, I think the best advice to give that person would be go to a big crypto project like let's say E&J or maybe a Matic or something like that, someplace that has some actual project team associated with them, and say, I can develop you a degenerative collection and build up your NFT community that way.
It's funny.
And I think we're going to start seeing that because, and aside from them trying to push their own project right off the bat, it would be a lot simpler. That would be the path of least resistance in my eyes.
And then they're selling it.
It's funny, I bought into a project a while ago called
I think it's
Collectibles.
brilliant because
They're actually collecting pieces of artwork, like paintings or antique, like cups or whatever, and then they're selling it to people using their tokens. I think it's brilliant because, for one, it's on a mutable blockchain forever. So no matter what, you have an idea where it's coming from, who owned it, all the information about it, and then a person can track to find out if it's real or not. And that's the one thing. Look at Logan Paul, for instance, with his Pokemon, box Pokemon, the $3.5 million he spent on those cards. If you had an NFT physically tied to that to prove ownership and prove authenticating it, wouldn't you feel a lot safer than versus going out and buying a box off of eBay? You know what I mean? Where that originally came from.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I like what Caligo is doing. You know, it kind of the only reason I kind of second guess that is just that, you know, what if people don't want to use that token to buy a collectible, right? Like, and especially if it's something physical, like what would stop them from just going to another place and picking that up? You know, where they wouldn't have to use that specific currency.
Yeah, definitely. They could auction it, but I think once these guys own the artwork, you're going to have no choice but to actually buy it with that currency, right?
Well, yeah. You can incentivize them by a low gas fee, right?
Or a transaction fee, yeah.
So that's got to be coming. Hopefully, that's coming sooner than later, because that will be like the next, when all the people that are sidelined from entering into the NFTs, like there's, I have countless numbers of NFTs I would have purchased already, but I mean, it's so expensive to buy them, you know, and it's so much more cost associated with buying and selling them that I'd have to make up in the value of it. It's like paying a ridiculous tax to enter into a DeFi coin.
Yeah, no, that's spot on, Hammy. Yeah, that's definitely spot on. Hey, is it me? Is it? This is just way off. This is totally different because I just got a notification on the phone that you know, one of my trades just got filled. But is it me? Am I the only one that's like, you know, you're praying for a order to get filled, and then when it gets filled, you're like, holy shit, what's going on? Why did it get filled?
Which one did you get filled?
My Harmony order just got filled because I wasn't trying to buy any at 30 cents being a cheap ass. But I definitely wanted to add some more to my position, and now that it just got filled at 29 cents, I'm like, oh, what's It's so funny how our emotions play into this.
Are you ladder? You got to ladder those orders more.
Yeah, no, like, you know, the funny thing, I've been my bags was already packed for Harmony, like, you know, like since 7 cents, but like I wanted to add more at 23 cents because it was like a good area of interest, and then I missed it, right? And then I seen it kind of go up to like 34, 35, 36 cents, 37 cents, and I was like, man, I'm not finding anything else that like I want to put this money on, right? And I don't like letting my money sit in certain places. Like I don't want my money to sit in BNB right now, even though BNB is pretty stable for me. I know I could do more of my money by converting it to something smaller or a smaller market cap. So I've been trying to convert a lot of my profits and things to Harmony, and I made some good profits with some like DJ and shit. So I was just like, man, like let me get this into Harmony, but I didn't want to do it above 30 cents. I was like, man, I'm gonna do it at 29 cents. But now that it's going through, I'm like, is this thing about the leave the trend that it's currently in, or is it about a break trend, or is it gonna just this is just the retest I was waiting on? Because obviously I've seen it coming to 29 cents. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put the order there. But when it got filled, I'm like, I wonder is it gonna go to 28? So maybe I'll put in some more
Cyber
orders
Anubis,
a little bit lower.
you wanted to talk really quick?
Oh yeah, we got Cyber.
Hey, yeah, I just had a quick question. So from everyone's past experience and or just like what they kind of like to see, in NFT projects, are you do people kind of expect that the entire money from mint should be redirected to the treasury, or is it like what's the general sentiment like?
A percentage needs to be spread to marketing or different things like that. Like I don't think you can just do all to one spot.
I think that's a case by case basis, really.
Yeah.
Depending on how, if your community is already up, like if you're the Bored Apes and you are about to launch a new side project and stuff like that, you don't need as much to go into marketing, because you have that solid support already established. Maybe it's into innovation that you divert some of those funds in. I think that's case by case what those funds are used for based on the project needs.
Yeah, I think that they should go to a treasury, but I think that, up from there it should be either a community vote of what happens with the treasury, or something that's already in the white paper that says what happens to the treasury, or the things that go into the treasury.
Always white paper, always.
Man, don't say that. I'm in a project now that don't got one.
Oh, dude. Violation of rule number 1.
No, they got a white paper, bro. It's just it shouldn't even be called a white paper. It's like fucking blank paper, but it's pretty. Bro. I'm not telling you no lie. Like, I don't know why this year, as far as like DGen plays go, I've done a lot better with projects that don't have white papers than I have with projects with white papers. I don't know why.
Well, that's good. But over the long run, the probability is going to catch up with you, bro. You know that.
Hey, just another follow up on the previous question. So I've seen like past projects where the team says that they will be putting in like about 50% back into the community treasury, and they'll be taking out 50% for the company. Like, is that quite common?
Was my mic on?
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, is it common for like projects to put in 50% of their funds into the treasury and into the community, and 50% back into their company, for other operations and stuff? Or is like, how does it usually work?
I mean, it depends on the mechanics of how your project is set up and what the project needs are. I mean, if you need money to pay artists to develop and continue the project, then I think any investor would be okay with that. It's kind of where it gets gray and where projects run into problems is when the transparency isn't there and the funds aren't trackable, or they don't know what's going on with the money. That's, I would say, the one thing you want to avoid.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I had something to add about the white paper thing. In this time right now, since everything is like super duper gray area, and I think also, I think I heard somebody mention that people are just promising what other people are promising. Wouldn't it be kind of safe, or at least from a creator or a developer standpoint, to just not promise anything at the moment? At least not make anything written in stone. I think some of these people are saying some things that are going to turn around and bite them in the butt.
Yeah, there's some people that overpromise 100%. That happens in cryptocurrency. That happens in NFTs. I think the whole idea is not to overpromise. Provide something very simple that is cost effective, that gets people's attention, and then maybe potentially take that next step once you've developed a bit of a following. But I think it's all strategic steps into what you're doing, I think, is what makes the difference.
Yeah, I think it's going to come in, like, some people's white papers will definitely come back to bite them in the ass. I'm in a project right now that I know that, on their white paper they said that they were going to have a tweet from Elon Musk, and it was like, now, 8-9 months into the project, people are like, well, where's that tweet at? And like, people are going to hold you to your white paper. So yeah, I definitely think that the white paper shouldn't be overpromised, and without people actually knowing what the next form of regulation may be. Yeah, I think it would be okay probably not to have a white paper, but you got to have a roadmap at least, so you can give people confidence. Unless you're only trying to attract, people that's throwing in $20 to $50, then it's a little bit different. But once you start talking about, people really investing in your project, I think that, yeah, you have to have that roadmap. But I think the roadmaps are a little bit, overpromised sometimes, yeah, for sure, and that happens on a lot of projects, and it happens often.
I also, to add on to that, I really don't think that people spend enough time actually using the white paper as a mechanism to establish good faith in the community. They see, oh, we have to get to this ultimate point, and that's what I put on the roadmap, and that's maybe in this far distant, like 6 months, maybe it's 2 quarters out, maybe it's 3 quarters out, when they really could give themselves a lot of layup type of milestones along the way that they could show that they're hitting. Like, if I don't know. There's small things like small functionalities, small minds. Maybe they don't affect price, but being able to show that you're hitting milestones and accomplishing work and development on the project along the way, whether it provides value to the project or not, are being left off the white paper. And I think it's probably a bad move on a lot of projects' part, because you could you could be gaining trust and gaining investor confidence along the way.
Yeah, that's all very interesting. I know there's two different terms that we've been using here. There's a whitelist and then a roadmap. And I know those two things kind of paint a different picture in my mind. I really do. I think you're on point with the roadmap idea, though, and pointing out accomplishments as we've gone. Because I'm fly by the seat of my fucking pants artist, and my daughter's got like a sick ass little project, but we're not trying to get the wrong attention. And so, like, we don't have a white list. We barely have a roadmap. Well, she has a roadmap. I'm just making friends and giving my art away. It's such a weird place that we're at, and so, like, I'm just listening to the conversation. I'm like, do I fit in that side that people don't like? I don't know. I don't have a white list, but like I said, we're not a big company. We're just some artists.
That's kind of like the point that I kind of make too, when I say that, what type of investors are you're luring in, right? If you're a small company, the last thing you want right now is for somebody of a venture capitalist or a Wells statue to come into your project and start buying up the supply, right? And because they can essentially take down the project. I think if you just have a respectable roadmap that says, hey, look, when we get 25 holders or 200 holders, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then you fulfill those accomplishments. And then you could have the white paper being on the roadmap. But, like, I think that, when I hear white paper, I think, it's going to have your roadmap in it. And it's also going to have a lot more things inside of it to tell, what's going to help you guys get there and things of that nature. But I don't think there's anything wrong with having a roadmap. I try to definitely make sure a project at least has a roadmap. But if there's a project that has a high market cap, or they're looking to have a high market cap, and they don't have any utility on that roadmap in 6 months, that project's probably going to get pumped and dumped. So I always tell people, in your roadmap, or in my mind, I think people should consider on your roadmap, don't have exponential growth without some form of utility to buy it. I mean, to go with it. It's almost like making this nice foundation for a 2-level home, and then because you're so happy with the foundation in the first level, you don't build a second level. And then your house gets too full on that first level, and then it's not big enough for everybody anymore. But you never went back and built the second level, so now people got to find a new two-story home to go to. So I don't know why I keep tying everything into houses today, but that's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. I just realized that I'm like, bro, it's like a fifth house analogy that I made.
Yeah, and maybe one thing that I could add that might clear up the differentiation is, if you look at the white paper as the scope of work for your project, all the tasks and what you're trying to achieve, what the goals are of the project in whole, that would be your white paper, and the roadmap being like your project schedule or your forecast for the schedule of how these things are supposed to coincide in order to achieve all of the goals that you're setting out to do.
Facts.
Awesome. I'm writing that shit down right now.
Nah, man, that's what we're here for, man. We like to have these spaces. We don't mind people coming in, no matter what size project you have or what size project you're working on. We want people to come in and talk about it, because the only way we can help you grow, and the only way you can grow, is to go out and talk to other people. I mean, I think that goes for any business. I think every business gets better by feedback, and that's why you have suggestion boxes at restaurants, in houses. No, stop.
And
Yeah,
on the
no, this
form,
is
when he's talking about utility, because you're an artist, you might not have utility on your roadmap, like
For
you're
merchandise, it could
doing
be
this
even
or
a
that or
merchandise
the
drop,
other.
or an
I guess
airdrop
maybe your
of
roadmap would
another
include
NFT
additional
potentially in the
project
future.
releases
There's
that
so
could
much that
benefit
you
the
can
entire.
kind of use as
So think about it in terms of more art being released as your
Or
utility.
merchandise. It could be even a merchandise drop or an airdrop of another NFT potentially in the future. Like, there's so much that you can kind of do as a utility. Like, if Hammy saying 100%.
nice, dude. My hand's cramping up, dude. I'm writing all this shit.
He's like, man, let me get all this.
No, because like I have two different things going on. It's like my daughter's project's well structured, and she's like a little brainy person, and she's got some devs backing her up. They liked her project, so they're helping her set it all together. Mine, I just have these collections of possible projects that I could just throw out. I think I got like 3 of them all layered out and ready to go. But yeah, no, I'm just sitting here learning. I don't want to. I don't want to blow this.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you need people to run those projects, man, you could always hire some NFTs. And it's one of the jokes I've been making lately is, hey, essentially you could run different projects and have NFTs run them in a time like this, because people know that doxing isn't 100% of everything anymore. I'm not out here looking for a project owner or CEO of a project or CEO to be doxed per se. I think the smart contract, or the way that your project set up, it runs itself. I don't think, I mean, you got to have somebody that's in charge, but I don't think that person has to have a face to go with everything. But I think if you're trying to be like the next Apple or like Steve Jobs or something like that, then yeah, you probably adopt yourself. But if you're just having I don't know who like anybody know who owns McDonald's? Like Ronald McDonald, I guess he's to me he's a NFT. Like he's not a real person. Like, but
There was
like,
two brothers or something that started McDonald's at one time. I forget their names. I read a book about it.
I think there's a movie, The Founder or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not the same guys from Coming to America with McDowell's.
Well, McDonald's is since they did their franchises.
You know what I'm
I think
excited for,
like
you guys, that I
McDonald's
see coming,
as a
because they already
company is
mentioned
like
it, the
big
vibe
landowners because
like
all
the
their
LOL
they don't
dolls are coming
any
out
of their
with
any
their
of their
own
properties.
NFT card
Yeah,
collection.
they definitely
I want to see
they're
like
more of a real
Pokemon
estate company than
NFT
they are a
card
cheeseburger spot for sure.
for your like super.
Do you know what
rares and
I'm
things
excited
like
for,
that,
you guys? And I
where
see
you
it
can
coming
actually
because I already
download
mentioned
an
it to
NFT.
Viben.
And if they did that,
Like the
I'd be
LOL
back in the
dolls are
store
coming out
buying
with
that
their
Pokemon
own
cards. Like,
NFT
I don't
card
now,
collection.
but if they
I
did
want to see
something
like
like that,
Pokemon
100%
NFT card collections
I'd be in
for your
buying
like
that.
super rares and things like that, like where you can actually download an NFT. And if they did that, I'd be back in the store buying up Pokemon
If it was
cards.
an
Like I don't
NFT
now,
though,
but
come on,
if
you'd
they
have to
did
think
something
about
like
it.
that, 100%, I'd be in for buying packs.
I'm coming to Canada and stealing your wallet if I see you buy Pokemon.
If it
Hey,
was
so
an NFT though, come on, you'd have to think about it.
I invited Rise Up. They have a new rug screener app that they came out with. I'm not sure which platform is available on, whether it's iOS or Windows, but I definitely wanted to bring them up and hear a little bit more about how much they've got done with that rug screener, because I know that they used to have one right inside of their Telegram. I used it multiple times. But yeah, tell me a little bit more about what you guys got going on. Can you hear me?
We can hear him.
You can hear him? I can't hear him.
Oh, maybe I can't hear him. Can you?
I can't.
That was like, holy shit, like my thing is really messed up.
I thought I heard somebody eating food or something.
Hey, Rise Up, can you hear us? I don't know which guy. You got a hand raised. You can go ahead and speak, bro.
No, I can't speak.
Yeah, you can. We
Oh,
can
there
hear
you go.
Okay.
Yeah, you're.
What's up, brother? How are you?
How are you doing, bro?
I'm
Thanks.
doing good, man. So, congratulations on getting the app and getting the rug screener up and running, man. I've seen a lot of posts on Twitter here in the last couple of days. Which are you guys on iOS and Windows, or just Windows right now?
Well, it's on Android and it's also usable through our website. So it means all people can use it.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Tell us, for the people that don't know about it, you want to kind of tell us a little bit more about the rug screener?
Well, a rug screener gives, if you can screen wallets and you can screen contracts for it. If you screen a contract for it, it will give you the necessary information to make a decision if you want to buy the token or not.
And that also shows the amount of liquidity. Maybe if the person has made another contract or multiple contracts. And what else does it show? The top percentage, or the top 5 holders, or the top 10% holders?
Hold on, let me open it.
Man, I got a contract to send you, but I'm scared it's gonna come back bad. Man, I don't want it to come back bad because it's doing really good for me.
Well, it shows a link to the BigONE to DEX tool. The scanner also shows how much money he's holding in BNB, Ether, and Matic. The top 10 holders, the last 5 transfers, and also if you use the screener for a wallet address, it will show you how many contracts he created. I found yesterday one with 16,000 contracts.
Man, have all 16 done well?
Not one of them.
So on that screener, does it show what happens with these other contracts that maybe let's say one person has came out with a contract, but they've also came out with 16,000. Does it show out of a percentage of how many of those contracts are still intact or not?
Well, I did some personal investigation on those 16,000 contracts, and they were all honeypots.
Oh,
Each
wow.
one of them.
This is good news. Like, is that going to be made public? Like, is this going to be a thing that the community is going to be able to start using? Because it would clear up a lot of static noise away from, I'm just an artist. My daughter's an artist, and all these other projects that are obvious rugs and shit. It's like, why are you buying that shit? Buy my daughter's shit, and I'm getting irritated, literally irritated.
So the app, it sounds like the app the app will be for the public. I'm not sure. Is it still free to use it?
No, the only thing you need to hold is $5 worth of Rise Up, so we can keep developing.
Oh yeah, so it's free for me. So guys, if you if you guys want to use it, just send me $1. No,
Well, either way, the idea that somebody could filter out through the garbage, that's awesome. If people are starting to filter out through the garbage, then I just need to sit and wait.
No, you don't need to need to sit and wait. The app is available for download on Android.
Nice.
So does Rise Up, like, let's say you had a project, do you do auditing for projects or offer those services, or is this app really kind of where you're at right now?
No, we don't want to go start vetting or auditing any projects, because sooner or later one is gonna rock and people will blame us. So we don't want to go in that direction. We want to educate people to do the auditing themselves.
Beautiful.
No, that's smart, man. I think what you just said hits a home run. Too often we look for people to blame, right? And the person that we should blame most of the time is the person that we're looking at in the mirror, because we're failing to educate ourselves sometimes. I know the first time that I got into a good rug pull where I put in more than a few B&B. I wanted to blame that project. I wanted to blame that developer, but they're only a part responsible. Nobody came to my house and put a gun to my head and made me buy that shit. That was something that I did, and I did it without vetting the project really well. But it's also, like you just said, it makes you go back and educate yourself and look at these things and really try to understand what you're looking at. So I definitely appreciate what you guys are doing. I tell you guys that all the time, but I definitely appreciate what you guys are doing and giving us more tools to utilize to kind of point out some of these honeypots and rug pools.
Yes, because this is only our utility. Our use case for Rise Up will be eventually the safe and secure blockchain, but I also have some other news to share with you. We are also creating an Ethereum token at the moment, and that will be creating our own wallet with a built-in rug screener. So if people want to do a purchase through their wallet, they instantly get all the information that our rug screener posts.
And will that rug screener that on that Ethereum side for the wallet, will that still read Polygon as well as BSC contracts, or just Ethereum?
No, it will read every. We keep adapting the rug screener, so eventually it will read every blockchain.
Nice, very nice. And then with that, have you upgraded to read XRP blockchain yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Now, because I've been seeing a lot of XRP projects, or a lot of projects come out using the ledger from XRP, and some of them seem to be okay, but then some of them are obviously rug pulls. But yeah, I just wanted to see if it was the way, and see if you guys had that one up yet.
No, but that can be updated pretty quickly. If we see there is a need for it, we can update it pretty quickly.
And then, what was the reason for the Ethereum token for this second creation? What was the reason for Ethereum versus coming out with a token on a blockchain that may have lower gas fees?
Well, we have a lot of people using our rug screener for Ethereum tokens. And also the investors that you have in Ethereum, they don't dump on a token that quickly.
Yeah, they really don't. But was there not a way to bridge? Was there not a way to bridge the current B20 token to ERC or to make it multi-chain?
Yes, that's possible, but we recently became an LLC, so we chose to create a second token instead of a bridge.
Nice, nice. But yeah, that's all the questions I have. Anybody else got questions? Hammy?
So is because I know that KuCoin has like their like little rope checker and everything. Is your app actually explaining what to look for or highlighting issues that normal people trying to learn about it can identify and kind of educate themselves, like you're saying, or is it still very technical, kind of?
Well, it's still a bit technical, but this is how we try to solve it. We try to do educational classes on Sunday on our Telegram, and also we have on Friday we have a live YouTube teaching class with Mr. Bird.
Cool. So you're providing the education through that.
Yes.
All right. And on your app, are you able to like? Is there links to these recorded educational segments that you posted on YouTube and whatnot?
Those are not yet on the app, but on our Telegram, there's all the information. We have 24 hours mod running, and I'm 16 hours a day there.
You're definitely one of the hardest working people that I've ran across in this space, man. I want to commend you for that. I know that anytime I would come over to you guys' Telegram, you would be up and awake and working.
Yeah, things need to be done. We've been doing this for 7 months, so we are not giving up.
I think keep at it, man. I think with some of the conference, I think as you guys get that wallet ready to go, if you have it ready, potentially by April, I'm gonna start going to we got the go ahead from Andy to start going to some of the conferences. I wouldn't mind taking a demo and showing it to some people for you.
Well, we would appreciate it very much, because
I gotta get an Android though, because I haven't had an Android in so long.
No, but if you go to our website, RiseUp official.finance, you can use it from iOS, you can use it from your laptop.
Oh, okay. So we just have to connect our wallet to validate that we have, X amount of RiseUp tokens to use the screener.
Yes, and to be honest, $5 for a lifetime use of the rug screener isn't that much.
Nah, man. I mean, $5 for any form of insurance isn't a lot, in my opinion.
And when you're saying a screener, like, if does your internal like how your algorithm work? So if I were to put in a contract or something, and would it be like, all right, this is a medium risk, or this is a high risk, this is a honey? Would it actually categorize them, or?
Well, we are gonna add that later. We add that in our Telegram rug screener, but we just launched our app and we do daily updates. So eventually you will see some red flags, like the top 10 holders hold together more than 20% of the total supply, and so on.
I think that'd be a really effective way going forward for you guys, and offer another level of marketing for your project, especially because I talk about this all the time. having a rating system for for the information that you're receiving. I mean, we do a few AMAs a week in Asia Blockcast, and I always ask Andy and Lala, like, hey, why don't we come out with some form of a rating system where we rate it and then you let community rate, right? So then you have a community rating for the project, and then you have our rating for the project, ABC rating. I think that would be something beneficial if you guys added, a rating system for the projects that you guys are reviewing, and then also giving that community or other people not having, they don't have to be a part of that community, but other people who are looking at that project, they could also vote on it and give it a rating. I think that'll do really well going forward marketing wise.
Yes, because we are also working on a database. If somebody screens a wallet or a contract, and the wallet creator has been involved in a previous scam, our database will show that.
Yeah, that'll be a sick feature, bro. If you could get you guys get that going, and then maybe like put those people like their transaction hash or their wallet address numbers in like a different color or anything like that to kind of warn people, man, that's going to be a major use case. Like that's going to be something that anybody goes back to circle backs to use.
Well, it's already implemented in our rug screener. It's not working yet, but it's called the rabbit hole.
I like that, bro. Rabbit hole. Don't make us get in the rabbit hole, bro.
But yeah, we don't promise things, but we deliver.
Yeah, I like it, man. That's one thing I will say about you guys. You guys make your silence. You make your noise in silence. You guys are just going out there. I haven't personally spoke with you in probably a month, but I know every time I always drop into all the telegrams, here and there. I have a folder with all the telegrams, but I'll go in just to see if the projects are still running, see how the community feels, and I every time I go in, I see people using the screener, so I know that what you guys are doing is still useful. So congratulations on that, and definitely keep pushing it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah, same.
You already know. So guys, I'm up on 140 hour and 40 minutes on this space. I was only going to do an hour today, but I decided to stay on because we had some good conversations rolling. But I do have to roll off personally. I got some things I got to get done.
Yeah,
I'm at a job site. I'm at a job site. Probably just going to go in and look at some things with the homeowner. But I don't want to keep them waiting too long. But I appreciate everyone being here. Hammy, Rise Up, Crypto Spiders. Oh, before we jump out, Crypto Spiders did come out. Crypto Spiders, what do you want to give us today?
Oh no, dude, I was just chilling, bro. I don't want to chill or nothing. If anybody wants to check my profile out, dude, I got all kinds of shit going on. I'm a mega artist, let's say.
I like it.
So if anybody wants to collab or anything, dude, hit me up for sure.
Yeah, man. We always. I'll tell you what. We'll be back on Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We usually have more of an NFT type of space on Fridays and a freelance, or we're not really a shield, but like we try to bring creators together. But yeah, come by Friday if you have time, and we'll bring some more NFT artists in, and then you guys can collaborate a little bit.
All right, same here, you
For
guys.
sure, dude. Thanks for having me up, man.
Got some planning.
No problem,
to do.
man. And then for everybody
Ahead
else,
of
I
time,
appreciate
I
you
have some
guys
work to
being
do
here.
before
Hope
this
you guys
meeting
have an
here
amazing
at
rest of your
2:30
week.
ET,
And if not,
have a
then I
good
hope you
day,
have a better
and
week
we'll
next
talk to
week.
you
But
guys all
until
soon.
next time, guys, I gotta roll out. Peace.
Same here, you guys. I got to take off. We got some planning to do ahead of time, or I have some work to do before this meeting here at 2:30 ET. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you guys all soon.
Bye. Bye-bye.